All right. Hey everybody, welcome to the webinar. Sorry, we are about a hot second late here. Um, Trying to work through some of the my technical difficulties here. So welcome to the webinar this month. I'm gonna say Miss Abby is here. We've got 20, looks like 27, 28 people are coming in quickly now. So Abby, so help me out as we kind of get going. As people come in, we'll go ahead and get this thing started here shortly. Um, Looks like we've made some adjustments. So we've added a chat feature, everybody, this time. So with the folks from Monkey here to show Sadie, and I'm hoping we're not going to have some technical difficulties. I just ran it and we'll see what happens. But we've got some ability for you to ask some questions as we get into it directly versus just the Q&A, which is what we've done in the past. So there's some dialogue here if we need to. So just to kind of go from, well, your screen may not be left to right or like mine is, but we've got Nick and Debbie from Monkey Media Software here to kind of talk through Sadie a bit. We've got Danielle, obviously, my partner in crime, who's here every month with us. And then Miss Abby from New Catering Connections, NCC, is going to be kind of our hostess with the mostest, who's going to be helping us identify any questions you guys have or anything that comes up in the chat. So please feel free to reach out to her. I am trying a different computer configuration, and we are not going to run from the website this time because I've heard we've had some lag issues. So we're going to try to run on a different model this time that hopefully will make it a little bit more smooth for everyone. So this is the Catering Wave, part four, and this is July and August. If you're looking at your calendar when we do the Catering Wave, July and August are, I know it's feels far away from us, but if you realize that we're almost a third of the way through April now, it comes quickly. So July and August are kind of preparation and some list building, and then some back to office, we call it outreach. So we're going to talk through some of that today. But since there is a natural dip in the calendar that comes, starting around mid-May through right after the 4th of July, we wanted to talk through some of the things that are necessary to kind of get you ready for not only back to school, back to office, but then for the fourth quarter and the holidays that are coming not too far away as well. So, one of the things that we wanted to touch on today is AI powered opportunities, things that you can do and afford to be able to help you with generating anything from research, list building, web scraping, tools that you need to create. We want to show you some of those today. And in the spirit of kind of focusing on AI a little bit, we get to meet Sadie. And so hopefully we may have a little bit of an echo, but we're going to try to at least let you see a little bit about what she does. And then we're going to send you the link to the video so you can watch it post webinar. So before we kind of get any further, I'm going to let the team here kind of introduce themselves, tell you a little bit more about them if it's your first time in one of our webinars. So first of all, we'll kind of go, Nick, I'll let you and Debbie kind of introduce yourselves first, if that's okay, and tell them a little bit about who you are. And intro of Sadie would be great too, if you want to say a little bit about her.
Sounds great. I'll be ultra quick. Hello, everyone. My name's Nick Wilson. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Monkey. Thrilled to be joining you guys again for another one of these webinars. We did one a few months ago. It was a lot of fun. And looking forward to this conversation. I think AI is definitely a hot topic, so I think it's going to be a great conversation. Debbie, I'll pass it over to you.
It is, and I am Debbie Marr. I am the growth manager for Sadie. Very excited to introduce her to all of you today. Sadie is Monkey's AI voice agent built to support all things catering. So hopefully it will be cooperative and you guys can hear her in action in just a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Debbie. Danielle?
I'm Danielle Gazetta, founder of RevGen Marketing. I've done a number of these. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I am excited to learn more about Sadie. I actually had a client that asked me about it this morning, so perfect timing.
All right. And then Abby, maybe you want to tell people how you want them to ask questions or anything else that you can help them with.
Yep, I'm Abby Talley. I'm Director of Communications here at NCC. I know before we haven't had the chat feature, we've only had the Q&A, but since we do have it on this one, any questions that you have, put those into the chat and then we'll make sure to get those answered. I'll be watching it the whole time, so anything that you have questions or comments or anything like that, definitely feel free to put those in anytime.
So the first thing I want to talk about before we kind of get too deep into it when we're talking about Sadie is part of the reason I was excited to have Nick and Debbie on was because Sadie works for your restaurant regardless of your platform. So if you are an Olo client, if you are a Lunchbox or a Toast or any of these, even if you have a self-made system, Sadie can interact and support you. And even when I sat with Debbie and got a demo, I think it was a week ago, when we started to understand the pricing structure, I was like, man, any restaurant that wants to do this is within your budget. So this is a this is a non-paid promotional deal. I just thought it was a great tool for you guys. I just want you to understand that anytime we can find a really cool tool for you and your teams, we want to bring it to your attention. So we're excited to be able to have them talk through what Sadie can do. And I saw some of it and it was pretty exciting to me. So if you're looking for that after hours weekend, take some pressure off. If you're a sales manager and you want to just kind of chill for the weekend and know that she's there, kind of fielding any kind of late minute fly balls that are coming your way, it's gonna a really cool tool. So, kind of talking about what the 12-month catering sales wave. We've touched on this all year long through these. So now we're kind of talking through June and July and August now, as we get into part 4 of this. And as you'll see on there, it says July and August need research and list building and back to office outreach. So it's kind of a research, a planning window of time, but it's also an outreach time. And so it goes back to how are you allocating your hours and your time over the course of a week. Uh, in conversations, if you're new, if this was one of your first webinars with us, or you're just watching this video after the fact and you haven't interacted with us before, if you're a sales manager, especially, or if you're an owner that has a sales manager, I always think it's important to point out that we've talked to brands where the sales manager is only able to sell anywhere from 15 to 40% of the time. Their time is spent doing so many other things and tasks. And so to understand how to allocate their hours on the course of a month, but if we can introduce some tools that are going to shorten that need, they'll give them more time to sell. So if you can take your research time from 30% of your week to 10% of your week, that extra 20% can all go toward driving new business for you. So this is where we are in the catering wave. When you start thinking about it right now, obviously on the calendar wise, we're somewhere around this week of April. So we're getting ready to have this major peak coming up, right, for appreciation season in the next couple of weeks. So we're only about 10 to 12, 15 days from admin appreciation week, and that just kind of gets the ball rolling. And so we are seeing a ton of quotes coming through for construction, for school, because construction safety week's coming up, teacher appreciation week is coming up, nurses appreciation week is coming up. We're even seeing public works week. We had one market where we just did a quote for 1,000 people. So know that there's some opportunities coming up. So your time right now should be spent selling if you can. So what will we cover today? We're going to talk about using AI to research and list build. And I've got some really cool, a couple of specific companies that I recommend that are pretty cost effective. And I'm going to even show you a couple things that we've built with it. Then Danielle's going to take us through alternating methods of communication. There's some new research that just came out not that long ago, and it's going to be on the cateringspace.com website that talks about it isn't 5 to 7 touch points anymore. It's more. And so what we want to do is talk you through how to make that happen. And then obviously the third part of today, we're going to talk through Sadie and some other AI agent strategies. So 3 quotes that I wanted to touch on as we kind of get through this. What used to be 5 to 7 is now 8 to 12. So think through that for a minute. We're going to touch on what that means. What used to take hours can now be done in seconds. And what used to cost thousands can now cost just a few dollars. I got in, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I got into a bit of a internet spat with someone because they were trying to say that somebody had wanted a video made from a marketing agent. They were only wanting something for like $100. And they were like, don't you know how much this costs? It's, $3,000, $5,000 or whatever. And my point was you can go to Upwork and get somebody to make it somewhere for $100. You might get $100 worth of the quality, but you can get something made for $100. And I was thinking through that when we were building out the NCC website just 3.5 years ago, I was getting quotes of $9,000 to $15,000 to build out a website. I can build out a website now for about $20 if you ask the right questions. And again, if you need something simple and you need something basic, but you need to represent yourself well, it doesn't cost thousands of dollars anymore to do some of this work. So we want to talk through how you can use AI to help research and list build. And that's the primary thing I wanted to touch on here. You can use AI for a ton of things. And if you're a Chat GPT person, or if you like Grok, or if you like Claude, or whatever is your AI of preference, if you're using it primarily for chat, that's great. You can use it as a search tool. You can use it as get a lot of benefits from it. What you may not be able to realize is how easy it is to use it for other things to help you on your day-to-day sales or your day-to-day operations. So turn hours of manual research into minutes. Learn how AI tools can help you identify, qualify, and prioritize prospects so you spend your time selling. This was some data that came back. The average salesperson can spend as much as 60% of their time on research, list building, searching, Google searching, whatever it might be. So the goal for us here is we want to flip that ratio and probably flip it heavy, flip it hard to where you're not even spending maybe more than 10 or 15%, much less reversing it. So this isn't about replacing the human touch. It's about giving you better data faster so that every conversation you have can be more informed, targeted, and more likely to convert. Instead of you just kind of browsing through a business chamber directory, we want you to be able to look exactly for the type of clients you want, for your price point, for your location, for your menu options. There's times where catering is concerned that people think, well, my menu applies to everyone. And Danielle and I have been doing some marketing strategy, some logic, what do you call it? Strategic back and forth recently.
Brainstorming.
Brainstorming. Thank you for the word. I couldn't find it. But the idea is that not every menu appeals to every client out there. And so we want to make sure that to help you is that where's your price point? Where's your menu? Who is your target client? That's such a big one. Who comes into your restaurant each day? If you're a heavy female client base, then your catering is going to resemble that as well. Whereas if you've got more of you're the hearty meal, you've got the fried chicken, and you've got the pot roast, and you've got those types of items, then you may be more blue collar in your outreach searches. So it's understanding where you best fit. And AI can really drive some things to help you do that. So, Abby, I'm going to ask if you can just kind of monitor any questions along the way that come up in chat. If somebody needs some clarification on this, we're going to be able to move more quickly on questions this time. So just let us know. So tools that do the heavy lifting. So I have Chat GPT and Claude in there just because those are the ones that people are most familiar with. That and Grok, I think, are probably the three primaries. And they're good at analyzing documents. We've got even set up to where we could upload a CRM directory and then upload a third-party catering report and put them together, and it can start to compare the two lists together to find out if you've done any research or any outreach that resulted in a third-party platform order versus coming directly into it. So, and we did that through Grok or Claude. I think we're using Claude for that. So those can do some real basic research and analysis for you. You can ask it, hey, can you look for any event in Texas in July and August where lunch provided is written somewhere on the event site, and give me something where I don't have any hotels, and it'll give you, I found 27 things and that might fit your need. There might be 100, but they're only going to give you the first 27 or the first 5 or the first 8. And that's what ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, those types of things are good for. At the bottom, you'll see there's two others. I have Lovable and I have Manus. And both of those are sites that are going to be able to give you better tools and much better constructs to be able to do some of this work more custom and on your own. Lovable leans probably closer to the Canva side of the equation in that it's really good for developing apps and websites. It can build out trackers, it can build out dashboards and things like that, all without code. It's all verbal. I mean, you can even talk to it or you can text and tell it what you want, and it will build it just from your ability to ask it questions. Manus, on the other side, it says autonomous AI agent. I've seen where there's as many as 8 different agents running all simultaneously to compile project lists. So it's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very good at solving problems or creating a document that maybe you need to be able to analyze your business better. Perhaps you want to build out a catering flow through. All you do is you upload your P&L and then you figure out some tools like say, okay, if I add $2,000 in incremental catering revenue, what is my suggested catering flow through? You'll be able to get answers like that very quickly. So we're going to show you a little bit about what some of those tools do. I'm not going to break down Claude and Chat because we're pretty familiar. The first one I want to share with everyone, though, is Manus. Manus.im. There is a free layer where you can get some limited credits and to play on it, to try to see what it'll do. Then you can start off with programs at $20 a month, and then 40, and then kind of up from there. It's all based on credits. And every time you ask it a question, the credits can vary. It can be something very simple where it might be a half a credit is what it charges you. It might be something more intricate where it might charge you 12 credits. So it's all based on the complexity of what you need done. So it can research target companies and build your prospect list automatically. And I'm going to show you how we did that shortly. It can draft personalized outreach emails from your web research. So we use Close as a CRM. That close.com is our CRM. It has an API key. So basically it is that code that's about 50 characters long. I'm sure somebody smarter than me knows exactly how many characters those are, but regardless, that list of characters is a key which allows you to communicate between your CRM and whatever tool you're trying to build. And so if you've got an API key, it can do a lot of wonderful things if you just give it the data. So it can personalize outreach, it can set up workflows, it can set up lists, and do a lot of things. It can build menus, proposals, pitch decks on demand. It can automate repetitive workflows like follow-up sequences. So if you reach out to someone, you capture an email, you can use Manus to help you construct a series of emails. And if you're connected to a CRM or a method for sending your emails, it'll even schedule them for you. So then it just automatically sends these emails at strategic times. So again, it frees you up to do more first calls, more initial outreach, more quotes, go visit people while it's working for you behind the scenes. So you're not feeling quite so overwhelmed. So it's
So our
best for,
our panelists
yeah,
allowed to ask questions?
you bet. Go ahead.
So I'm just learning a little bit about this. So I'm going to give you a case scenario. I have a client with a very large CRM database. Is there a platform that I would be able to upload that database and have it cross-reference against, say, the LinkedIn platform to flag companies, small companies, businesses, organizations by category for catering opportunities?
Yes, and maybe are the two answers there. And
Okay.
part of the reason is LinkedIn is very protective of their
Okay.
data. So anything that's easily searchable on LinkedIn through a traditional Google search, it will be able to match it up effectively. If you're trying to get contact information or anything a little deeper than just what's on their main profile, and if the profile is searchable, it won't do. But if it is searchable, it will be able to do that. Yes, correct.
Got it. Okay.
So.
Great.
So I'm going to show you a tool. This is, let's see if it'll set up. There you go. So this is something I literally built in about 8 minutes using Manus. And I wanted to show everyone. So here at New Catering Connections, our clients are obviously restaurants, where we help restaurants kind of grow their sales. So what I asked Manus to do for me was to create the ability to add a source. So let's say you have a local chamber of commerce directory or a restaurant association directory, or maybe it's just a BNI group, right? That we can find. You can plug that URL in. You can tag it as whatever you want to tag it. And then I can say, scrape it for me. And what it'll do is it'll go through, it'll find all the restaurants. If I tell it I just want restaurants, that's all I'm searching for. It's going to find all the restaurants. It's going to give me whatever information is relevant and is able to be found on that site. So what we did is we just took 6 random Chamber of Commerce directories that I was able to locate. And I asked it, I said, okay, I'm going to plug these in. Tell me how many restaurants each one of them has. And it did so. And then I want you to build me a dashboard that tells me where they're located, right? Because we work all over the country. So for me to know different restaurants in different markets is very important. It's going to tell me 119 restaurants it was able to find. 105 of them had emails attached to them on their sites that they were. 14 are missing an email, right? So then I have my list of restaurants here, and I'm gonna take this off so you don't email Jesse Schumann at Seven Brew in Oregon. But the idea, Oregon, Ohio. But the idea is that if you wanted to prospect, you could build a simple tool such as this, have it scrape directories. And then if you wanted to do construction, say, I just want to find construction companies, and you could build out your own prospecting database for your trade area using just the variety of businesses in your area. You can find state directories, you can find local directories, and just scrape your city. So the ability to build something as simple as this literally took me less than probably 20 minutes to get it all worked out. I think it was somewhere around 7 or 8 minutes. I don't remember exactly how long, but it was not long at all. And it cost me only about $4 to $5 worth of credits. And it's there. It's done. You hit scrape and add, and it does it. It works in the background. Now, when you ask it to do things, it'll use more credits over time. As you scrape, it'll use some credits to do that. But the idea that you could spend, let's say, $50 a month, $80 a month, whatever it might be, and you've got the ability to generate an entire database for your specific restaurant, and you can add it to where it will be constantly scanning for updates. We've got a one that we built out for us where it's more of a reporting tool for us. But anytime one of our people puts an order in, it tracks it. And we've got it where just every 5 minutes it's scanning and it's taking that order and it's putting it into a dashboard for us. You can build those tools into these. So, so Carrie says the AI chose that document format. Yeah, Carrie. So what I found was you're building this out. It'll ask you what kind of format you want, and if you don't like it, you can change it. So if you wanted to put your logo for your restaurant brand, you could. If you wanted to have it formatted a different way, just tell it what you're looking for. What I found when I built this is it gave me 6 options and asked me to pick one, or it says choose your own. So we built out a really cool in-house marketing tool that does all of our social media. It it generated 10 templates. It created a subtle mode or I don't remember what's the other one, something in more intense version. And then it gave you different backgrounds. It had your logo where you could move it wherever you wanted on the page. You could add a video, you could add an image, you could change the text. The formatting's pre-done. In theory, we mapped out an entire month worth of outreach, and it did it in less than 30 minutes. So understanding all the tools and how they can work. I wanted to show you a couple other things we built with Manus. This one we didn't want to build a site for this. We just wanted it to scrape and build us a CSV file. So this was a simple request. You can see where it is up here. I don't know if you can see it clearly enough. San Antonio, spring 2026. Events with lunch provided, in parentheses, non-hotel, non-convention, non-restaurant venues. So think about it. If you're looking for a target and you go online and you go, I want to search on Google, lunch provided, I want to put it in a string and I want to put San Antonio and I'll put April, whatever it might be. Google will search. But Google's going to just give you a series of results and you've got to go in each one, then you've got to try to find the point of contact. What this was able to do with just that simple request was it built out, and I didn't have the whole list here, but I want to show you. It gave me a list. I think it gave me 27 total over the course of the April and May. And it tells you Mission Road Ministries Community Employment Celebration Luncheon. It's at the Mays Family Center at the Witt Museum. It's got the address, it's got the date, the time, it's got the luncheon meal included with sponsor membership, and then it's got contact name, email address, and phone number on the side. I didn't scrape though. I didn't show you that part. But just to show you, it's got the ability to find a Thrive Well Cancer Foundation, Conquering Cancer in Every Color luncheon at the same museum. It's got the SMPS San Antonio April Market luncheon at a different museum. It's got an Air Force Base program. It's got one at the San Antonio Zoo. It's got one at a co-working center. This is the kind of stuff you can find and you can build what you want. And then the tools repeat itself. You can just go back and do it again. So I want you to understand how much potential you have here. So I wanted to show that. And then this is just this is my back of house platform image where you can see where you can build out a task. You can assign agents to do some work for you. You can search your what you've worked on so far. You can look at your library. You can do projects or you can do tasks. I've got different ones. As you see these red dots here, that just means your agent has accomplished something in the background and there's new information for you to look. So I created an entire site that is looking for what you would call blue collar, what they call them pop-up directories. They're digital pop-up directories that have a lot of information in them, and it's just scanning those for me in the background. Anytime I get something new or it finds a new one, it lets me know. We built out a university athletics site. We built out a master account site. So the ability to do a lot of different things is really cool here. So I just wanted to let you know. For this one, we even built out our own service agreement with scope of works to terms and conditions and all that built in. The other one I'm going to show, because I'm spending more time on this than I imagined, I apologize. Lovable. Lovable is what the catering space is built on. Again, it's good for building sites. It's good for building apps. It's good for you can do things like build a catering let me slow down. Custom catering inquiry and booking form. You can create a client-facing menu or proposal. You can launch a branded landing page for a new service. You can set it up where it's got login credentials and everything. If you've got a team with multiple sales reps, you can build out a training site. Let's say you're a leader and you've got 35 catering sales managers out there and you want to validate what they're doing, you can have them upload summaries. If you don't have an interconnected CRM, you could have them take certification quizzes where you're tracking their performance all remotely. It's got so much potential for things like that. And you can generate a full website. So if you wanted to actually create a website for your catering, for your restaurant, Lovable can do that for you. And again, see at the bottom, they have a free program where you can do up to 5 messages a day for free, or you can do 100 messages a month. So instead of it being credits, it's built more on messages, whereas Manus runs on credits where they evaluate different things based on what it is that you're doing. So just to give you a quick show real quick, this is something we built on Lovable. It did not take us a whole lot. We gave it some information. We uploaded our logo, told it a little bit about what we do, and it created a learn more about NCC page for us, where you can learn about what we do, how many brands we support. It built all of this out pretty easily. We made some tweaks and edits. You might want to say, I don't like that picture. Can I find something a little different? But it built out all of this information about our program, talks about what we do, talks about our model, strategic targeting, VBR selling. There's a link to our catering calendar, all built into this, personalized outreach, qualification, and nurturing. So if you have a catering site and you want them to learn more about what you do beyond just a menu or a few blurbs here and there, you can create an in-depth site that talks about how you handle your delivery, how you handle setup, how you handle post-order support. You can give some confidence and reassurance to really help grow your first-party catering sales. Here's a little kind of fun little tool I put called Amplify the NCC Effect. If you want to talk about if your staff's not trained, if you don't have visible pricing on your menus, if you don't have much brand awareness in a market, and maybe you don't do your own delivery, you can start to see how it can reduce your ability to be successful with catering. So it's just kind of a fun little tool we built in. We have an attribution tool that talks about if you are not on something like Monkey, where we can do remote order entry for you, and you have to use another service, that you lose some control and potential. It talks about our pricing, but I just wanted to show you we've got an entire presentation. Abby and I were laughing earlier. So we've got a website showing a presentation that's got. So this is a website that's doing a presentation that has another website within it that also now has a presentation within it. So it's like Inception, I think is what Abby said earlier. So it's amazing what you can invest and do in here. So this is a Canva presentation embedded inside of a Lovable site that I'm showing you on a Manus presentation. So, but we've got our calendar embedded here. We've got some case studies, and we even have customer client feedback. So you'd be surprised what you could build out for your restaurant with client information, talking about their success and what they've like referrals, whatever you want to call it, all into one site that you can then share with potential new clients. So they get the case studies about how you do. They get a full run about how you handle catering at your restaurant, and you get client success information. So go nuts.
This is GoDaddy, Zoom Info, Apollo, all rolled into one for pennies on the dollar, basically.
And you and I have talked a lot about Apollo and Zoom Info and things like that. If you can build out a tool that's going to give you exactly what they're giving you,
I spend the
and
money.
it won't be to the same probably quality degree of depth of what it can provide, but you only need for your little circle,
Yeah.
your
I
restaurant or your location. So, the 5-step AI list building framework here: define your ideal customer profile based on who you are, your restaurant, your price point, all those things that go with it. Build your customized target list. What am I looking for? You can do this multiple times a year. I just need schools and nurses right now, nursing facilities right now. And in 2 months, I want to do my Black Friday research. So enrich your decision maker data. So it says use LinkedIn Navigator and data tools to identify the right person at each company. And then sometimes you can take that information, to your point, Danielle, this is the person at the company. Then I can go research that person online, and then it might flag down their phone number or their email address. So yeah, there's ways for prospecting purposes, and then you can build it out where it'll score and prioritize. This is whether it's based on confidence that I'm 95% sure this is their email, or I'm 30% sure this is their email, or I joked the other day, 6 months ago, AI would tell me how brilliant I was when I asked a question. And now what AI does is, are you sure that's what you really want? So it'll start to tell you, it'll hone you in on what you need. So it's come so far in just 6 months, and it'll help you organize in your CRM. So just wanted to share some of that with you. The last thing I wanted to touch on here before we kind of move into Danielle's segment is timing your AI outreach for the summer wave here. So if you want to track return to office announcements, identify office expansion, seasonal timing, whatever that might be for your summer outreach, or if you want to build your prospecting list, I want to do back to office prospecting, and then I want to do third and fourth quarter prospecting, then I want to do holidays. You can start to time your things and then prospect as you go. So you don't have to do it all at one time. So alternating methods of communication. So Danielle, I'll kind of let you talk through some of this, but I got a thought or two I want
Jump
to
in.
share. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a hard act to follow. I get the fun stuff here. So, yes, alternating methods of communication. So, we're going to talk about multi-channel prospecting, because multi-channel prospecting is what is going to get you responses. Sending an email is not a strategy. You need to have a coordinated cadence combining emails, phone calls, LinkedIn, direct mail, sample drops. All of these things combined in a cadence over a timely manner is what is going to get you 3 to 4 times higher response rate and about 47% better open rate. And the reason it is because you're dripping on different people within the organizations. Byron started the conversation saying that it used to be 5 to 7 touches. Now it's 8 to 12 touches. So you've got to really put yourself out there across channels to really get noticed and be top of mind for people to take action. If you're lucky, you'll get one of those that sticks, and that's where you kind of get to that 47%. So
One of the things that's on the website, on the catering space site, we cite the data that just came out in more detail. So just want to let you know, it's not on the here, but it's on the website. But it's the data is proving it out. It's more contacts than ever before.
yeah. And as we know, there's I think on the next slide it even talks about, there's different ways to communicate. Email feels very professional. A phone call is a little bit more personal. LinkedIn, you can do kind of more of a peer-to-peer. And I do want to go back to that other slide, but more of a peer-to-peer connection. And so you're going back and forth between people that will recognize you, respond to you, different levels within the organization, and really kind of get you noticed. I think back, we talked about the 44%. One back from there. One slide forward. I don't know if it's forward or back.
Okay,
Forward.
sorry. This one, yeah.
It's okay. Yes. So this is statistically really was shocking to me the first time I saw that. But 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up. So maybe one call and an email, if they don't hear back, they give up. And we just showed you that it takes 8 to 12 touches. So persistence counts. And then at least 80% of the sales require about 5 touches to close the deal. So look, if you really want to get in front of people, you need to have a coordinated cadence of these different channels, weaving in and out on a regular basis. And you can't give up.
I wanted to touch on this too, because I think there's something at the bottom that was interesting with the 3 to 4 times higher response rate with multi-channel versus single channel. So if you just call and then you call back and then or you email and then you email again, there's nothing more frustrating to me than seeing a salesperson that never talked to someone that has emailed someone 5 times. We have no idea if they're interested or not, and yet we keep spending our energies emailing folks. But I like how it read down here, an office manager who ignores your email might pick up the phone. The one who screens their calls might respond to a LinkedIn message. The one who does neither might enjoy a handwritten note left on their desk or that comes in through the mail. I just think think through that everybody likes to interact in different ways. And then again, if we want to talk about AI, if you want to ask what Manus and Lovable can do, they can build you a system that teaches you who to reach out to when. So yeah.
And this gives you just kind of a little guidance on what should you do. If you're looking for help in coordinating cadence across the channels, this just really gives you a little tool. Week 1, day 1, 2, 4, 7. What should you be doing at what point in the week or the month to really make sure you're creating that rhythm. I know we don't talk a lot about. I'm a huge fan of sample food drops. It is the highest ROI tactic that sales teams have in their arsenal, and typically it will result. A food drop typically results in anywhere from 20 to 40% conversion rate. So if you do have those teams that are boots on the ground that can go out and do that, make sure you're working those into your rhythm.
So, and I tried something recently, just for us to build our own client base, and I mailed out the flyers. Actually, that's another thing we did on there, right, Abby? We built a trifold brochure and a two-sided flyer for us and we tried some direct mail. And so we just had it printed at our local Kinko's, customized it to, some of them have Abby's picture, some have mine, some have Callie's, some have Tracy's. And so we can customize a flyer and then put them in the mail to folks. It's amazing how easy and the quality of what it was able to do. But the direct mail has a place now, and I know it jokes here where it says day 21, the breakup, right? I've tried for 21 days. You haven't responded to me yet. I'm breaking up with you now, but here's a nice going away email for our letter from us. But the idea to integrate direct mail into phone, into voicemail that drops, into LinkedIn, into a direct phone call, I think is very important. So this is just an example. You can make your own and and again, ask your AI what you think is a great strategy, and it'll map out everything for you. So back to office timing windows right now. You've got mid-July for planning and discovery, late July, which is that quiet week. Decision makers are often catching up on emails, a great time for a soft touch or a direct mail piece. Mid-August, the return ramp up. So it talks about some just different timing windows throughout as well. So now we're going to meet Sadie. But Abby, any questions or anything? Whose picture drove the most conversion? Yeah, I don't know, Nick. It's we were just getting started, but I have a feeling it won't be me, but we'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. But the ability to custom and be more strategic in it, I think, is really cool. So thanks for that. So we're going to introduce Sadie now. So I guess, Debbie, am I handing this to you?
Yes, you are handing it to me. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you for inviting me to join today. I'm excited to share all that is Sadie with all of you. I think a few things can be assumed generally about the audience that we have gathered here today. First and foremost, we all understand the relevance of catering and in regards to how impactful it can be to the bottom line of the business. We're all here because we want to generate more catering revenue, or we want to support others in that business growth. I think we can also assume that the majority of us have been on the receiving end of a missed call from a catering guest. And when we were able to return that call, we had lost that sale to a competitor. Or we've been on the phone with a catering guest and call waiting beeps in and we can't click over. By the time we get back to them, it was a new catering customer that we lost the sale to a competitor of as well. And I don't know about any of you, but I know when that happened to me in the past, I didn't just think about that immediate lost revenue. I also thought about order frequency and the possibility that I might not be the first call the next time that guest needed to place an order. And I also thought about the guest experience and how it was negatively impacted by my not being available when they needed to reach me. And I thought about the bonus points that I gave away to a competitor by allowing them the opportunity to step in and be the hero and how that positively impacted their guest experience. And exactly there is where Sadie steps in to fill the gap. So Sadie is Monkey's AI voice agent built to handle catering calls so your teams never miss a catering opportunity. You can go to the next slide. Because as we, one second before there should be another one before that. That's all right.
So, maybe we got them out of order. Is it this one?
Yes, that one. And then we can go back to
Sorry
that
about
one.
that.
Because as we all know, when a guest carves out some time to call and place a catering order, they want to place that order right then and there, especially our high volume or our high frequency guests. They want to place that order, and sometimes that high value guest isn't thinking about placing the lunch order until they themselves are going out for lunch one day. And maybe you do have a catering CSM, but that person is helping to facilitate delivery or production, so they're not available. Or you don't. And that guest is trying to get through on the restaurant line. And what is that experience like, right? It's going to be some rushed conversation that is a version of, let me get your name and number and somebody will call you back after 2, right? And also our high value guests sometimes don't think about placing an order for a meeting until they're leaving the office the night before. And we have a lot of teenagers out there working in restaurants after school. So what is the consistency of that order experience like? And if you do have a CSM, we can't really expect them to be on duty 24/7, even though most of them are. And so for them, it hits even harder that they've missed the call because they understand what an inbound call means. An inbound call is the lowest hanging banana that they're ever going to get because that's a guest that's got a credit card in their hand and they've got order details to relay, and that's what they want to do. So you can go ahead back to that other slide, because I think another thing we can generally assume about everybody on this call is that we all fit within a relatively wide range of comfort when it comes to AI. So hopefully we'll be able to take a listen to this demo call and see Sadie in action.
So, and if this doesn't work exactly right, I apologize. Abby and I tested this with a one-on-one, and it worked fine. But when we added in other folks, we have a little bit of an echo. So I do apologize. Nick has posted in the chat a link so you can go and watch it. It's a YouTube link. It's about 3 minutes long, but we're going to see how this goes. A couple things I wanted to say, Deb, before we go. One, you talked about teenagers. A lot of times, the newest person hired is the one that is least knowledgeable in the restaurant, and they have phone duty. And so to understand that a lot of times they're the ones answering the phone. The other thing I was going to say to your point about that was a lot of times somebody's ready to place an order. They just have a single question that they need answered, and it can be as simple as that determines whether you get the order or not. And what I love about this is this will hold that order for you until the next time a human can get back to them, and that's the most critical part of this. So I'm excited about that. So let's see what happens, and I'm hoping it doesn't echo. We'll see what happens.
Thank you for calling Monkey Cafe Catering. My name is Sadie. I'm the Monkey Cafe After Hours assistant. How can I help you?
Hi, Sadie. Yes, I'd like to place an order, please.
Great. I'll help you place a new order. To begin, may I have your first and last name, please?
Diana Lozano.
Thank you, Diana Lozano. Have you ordered from us before?
Yes, actually, I also need to change an existing order I placed.
I can help with that. Let me first collect your information for the new order, and then we can address the change to your existing order. Could you please provide your phone number for the order?
Sure, it's 415-555-0147.
Thank you. Now, may I have your email address?
It's diana.lozano@outlook.com.
Great, I have that noted. How many guests will be attending your event?
About 35.
For 35 guests, I'd recommend 2 small platters and 1 large platter of assorted sandwiches. Does that sound right for your event?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Excellent. What date would you like your catering order delivered?
For Friday, October 15th at 12:30 p.m. please.
And may I have the delivery address?
Sure, it's 450 Oak Street, Suite 200, Los Angeles, California.
Perfect. Do you have any special requirements or dietary restrictions?
No, thank you.
Perfect. I have your order for 35 guests with 2 small platters and to be delivered to 450 Oak Street, Suite 200, Los Angeles, California. Your order has been placed successfully, and you'll receive a confirmation email at diana.lozano@outlook.com shortly.
Okay, before I go, did that help when I muted my line for a second?
No, I think it cut her off, so
Okay.
we couldn't hear her either. But that's all right.
Existing order. Could you please provide the order ID from your order confirmation?
Yes, please. It's 163390.
Give me a moment.
Sure.
I have your order for 25 guests, currently scheduled for October 25th at 1:15 p.m. What change would you like to make?
We need to move the delivery time to 11:30 a.m. instead. And please change the delivery location to 892 Maple Avenue, Pasadena, California.
I will note your request to change the delivery time to 11:30 a.m. and update the delivery location to 892 Maple Avenue, Pasadena, California. A team member will call you back during business hours to confirm. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, not for now. Thank you, Sadie.
Thank you for calling Monkey Cafe Catering.
Okay. So let's see. Now I've got echoes with me.
Yeah, now you're going, but
Now I'm echoing. Yeah, I know. Let's see. How
All
about now?
right.
Is that better?
yep.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
You're good.
Gee,
That's okay.
technologically
So that
disadvantaged.
is Sadie. She can work 24/7 or on a schedule. She answers calls simultaneously, so no one's ever going to get a busy signal. And she supports all catering platforms. You do not need to be a Monkey partner to use Sadie. She takes catering orders and also captures order edits. And if you are a Monkey partner, she can pull that order information and confirm details. She then turns those calls into a full transcript and an action plan summary that gets emailed to your team. It's a simple onboarding process. There's no training necessary for your team, and we can have her live in 2 to 3 days. And Sadie never has a bad day. You can move to the next slide. Some important things to note: Sadie does not inject orders directly into Monkey or any other POS, and that is intentional. We do want to have guardrails in place because catering orders are much more complex than a traditional takeout order, and we want to ensure that the proper quantities and proper menu have been selected before anything can ever get to production. What your team will receive is pictured here. You will get 2 emails, one being that full transcript so that you can have that to refer to if necessary, and the other email is that order action summary. So you do still need to input the order details, and that does make some people wonder how Sadie can be a time saver. So I will give you an example. As we all know, catering success directly ties to relationship building. So think about your typical calls with your high value guests and the amount of time you put into nurturing those relationships in addition to capturing the order details, and then picture them happening after hours. So it takes a lot less time to just place a return call and confirm the number of platters, number of gallons, and a date and time. And also think about your notoriously late high frequency orders, which may or may not be farm reps. Because we do not input menus into Sadie, she can accept general orders. So you can train those reps to use Sadie, and they can just give you the head count. They can give you the delivery details, and you can fill in the blanks with the preferences that you know they have. Those high frequency order guests are going to appreciate not only Sadie's availability, but also the efficiency of that order process. You can go to the next slide.
So Debbie, this is
Yes.
what the restaurant gets here, right?
Yes.
Okay, what does the client get, or am I jumping the gun?
That is for the human side. So whatever your traditional confirmation process is what the client will receive.
Okay, cool.
So Sadie is not just for catering. Sadie also offers a variety of agents to support every kind of restaurant guest call.
Sorry,
That's okay.
trying to figure out where the presentation is. Sorry.
Not a problem. Is it
There you
forward
go.
one?
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. All right. Yep. Sorry. Just a
That's
bit of a
okay.
lag.
So we also have Sadie Orders, which captures to-go orders and injects them directly into the POS. And some of our current integrations are Toast and Square. We also have Sadie Reserves. She books and edits reservations. Some of those current integrations are OpenTable, Libro, and Yelp. And then we also have Sadie Answers, and she handles routine guest questions regarding hours, locations, promos, and really there's no limit to what we can train Sadie to field for your team. Next
So
slide.
from a marketing perspective, if you've got a new item or a new promotion or anything else, we can train her to speak to that as well.
Absolutely. Yes. So Sadie's incredible, and she's just one of the amazing offerings that Monkey has produced since gaining their independence from Easy Cater last year. We also have a new and improved website. It's monkeymediasoftware.com. So please go check that out and also see all that is new and exciting in the jungle. Our demo lines for both Sadie Caters and Sadie for Restaurants are live. Both of those numbers are listed here. There's also a QR code where you can book some time with me. If you have additional questions or you want to have a demo opportunity, I do have a free trial available for anyone on this call that is interested. So if you're even just a little bit interested, let's get together and see what Sadie would look like for your business.
So, and just let everyone know, I'm going to be sending out this as a PDF, but it's also a website that we'll be able to send you as well. So you'll have all of this information, these phone numbers, that QR code will all be intact for that I'm going to be sending out post call. So you'll have multiple ways. Plus, when we send you the links and everything to your email, Debbie will be copied there, so you can always respond to her directly there, or you can. There's going to be a little. A blurb at the bottom which tells you how to go ahead and schedule time as well. So I would tell you from what I've seen and us intentionally trying to trip her up, she soared. She did amazing. And so I was a general manager or operator many moons ago, but something like this, you don't know how many orders that you're missing. And I think it's one of those where it definitely pays for itself because you don't. I think the model is you pay for it as it's used, right? It's a use. So if no calls are coming in, you're not using it. If they do come in, you are, and the ROI is just built in. It's just a natural ROI. So it's a wonderful tool on that. So thank you very much. If anybody's got any questions, Abby, I know you're probably watching that already, but
Yep.
if anybody's got any questions before we go, feel free to ask, and then we'll kind of squirt through the back end of this here. So one of the things we want to do is talk about timing your research. Those three critical windows when your list building efforts pay off the most. Right now, we've got back to office, we've got appreciation season, and early holiday planning. When we start looking at what to do in July and August, that's the best use for your time. Back to office obviously starts with back to school. It's that time of year where vacations are done and office meetings kind of get back on track. There's also, we joke in Louisiana, we have festival season, and it's usually in the spring and in the fall when it's not really crazy hot or it's not cold. Appreciation weeks tend to follow the same. There's not a whole lot happening in June and July and early August, but once you get to September and October, yes. So Preet has a question, I think, on there too, Abby. Something about.
Can a franchisee install Sadie if their brand isn't using it?
So yeah, say it again.
Yes, absolutely. It does not have to be brand wide. We can set it up just for your locations.
Yep. That's what I like about this. This is a restaurant level type thing, and And again, if you unless corporate's going to foot the bill, which I think is a great idea, but you never know. There might be some out there that would be willing to do that. So, what are some other AI agent strategies that you can employ? Obviously, you can chat bots if you have a website. So, like even if you use Manus or Lovable to build out a site for yourself, being able to incorporate a chat bot in there to be able to answer some basic questions is easily programmable. Email assistance, again, the ability to, like we touched on earlier, you can schedule, plan, layer your emails, and you can get AI to assist you with that to free yourself up, so you're not having to manually do those check-in calls, right? Just circling back calls. Voice agents, obviously, is what we were kind of referring to there with Sadie. The ability to have an AI receptionist that can answer calls, take messages, and route inquiries. But there's a lot of them out there, but there's not a lot of catering ones out there. And that's what we want you to understand is don't sign up for just some random AI voice agent. I promise what you'll get from Sadie, the knowledge and what they've put into her, is totally worth it. Especially since, again, you're only paying for it as inquiries come in. And then obviously a CRM co-pilot. If you do have a CRM, you're on HubSpot, our Salesforce, our we use Close internally. If you've got the ability to do AI agents within there, find out what they can do for you. You'd be surprised where some of the time savings will come in. So obviously, at the restaurant level, or even if you're even at the corporate level, start small. As you start rolling AI into this, I think right now for so long AI has just been a chat concept, right? It's been an upgrade from Google. There's more than that. So figure out what you need to automate. Look for multi-channel cadence, meaning so the ability to, if I'm going to use AI, how can I build it to where I'm communicating in a lot of different ways, but yet freeing up my time? And then obviously do some deployment as you are comfortable doing so. One of the things that we want to do to kind of wrap things up here in the next 10 minutes or so is time to talk through why we're getting into what's coming in September and October, is because in July, there's not much. Like when we were reaching for what's a good VBR for July, and you've got obviously outside of the beginnings of back to school, therapeutic recreation week. There's not a whole lot out there. And actually, you're not getting much more in August. We found Community Health Worker Awareness Week, National Health Center Week. Again, not a whole lot going on in the summer months. But then you get into September. Payroll week, truck driver appreciation week, international housekeepers week. We did a ton of catering last year for housekeepers week, because not only are you getting, it says hospitals, hotels, hospitals, and large corporate campuses, anything that's got some sort of a housekeeping part to it, whether it's assisted living facilities, extended care centers. There's a lot of places that are going to be able to do that. A huge catering upside there. Construction appreciation, security officer, surgical tech, are all big ones. Physicians Assistants Week in October, Supply Chain Week, Food Service Workers Week, Emergency Nurses, Respiratory Care, Pharmacy Week. There's a lot of things coming up. So being able to build out those lists now, I think, is so very important. So again, that's the end of it for us here. We're going to be done in an hour this time.
Can I pop in with
You
one thing
bet,
over
Danielle,
summer?
please.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, June and July. I know there's not a lot of B2B activities. There is a decent amount of B2C activities to capitalize on. Family reunions. I mean, there's always, July 4th parties. World Cup is being hosted by the United States this year. One of my clients is leaning very hard in on World Cup watch parties. And so as they're delivering catering orders to offices, to B2Cs, they're doing some leave behinds. Don't forget to check us out for your World Cup watch party. We're here for your family reunion. So June and July, there is a little bit of a play for B2C. Just a thought.
And also when you think about if you're in a World Cup market, I know I think Houston's one. I think Denver's one. I think they're spread out strategically across the country. They're going to generate a lot of needs, similar to a Super Bowl coming into a town. You're gonna have a lot of guests from out of town, a lot of exposure for your brand. So yeah, the other thing I was gonna say too, employee appreciation events are very plentiful in the summertime, especially if you are a barbecue brand or something that's in Louisiana we would say the crawfish boil season is in full swing about that time. So the ability to understand that B2B to C model is very important. You might reach them B2C opportunities, but through a business even, I think is very important. So, Nick, anything on your side before we head out that you want to talk about Sadie or Monkey or anything else?
No, I think Debbie covered it all. I was just here in case there are any broader questions around Sadie or Monkey. So I think all good. I did see there was one question that came into the chat about using Sadie with EasyCater. The short answer is you can use Sadie with anything, right? Like you're gonna get when you sign up with Sadie, you're gonna get a phone number. That's the phone number people to call, and people call, and that's why they reach Sadie, and then the order comes through over email to any email address you want. So you can use it with literally any system in the world or none.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Any restaurant can participate with it. But yeah, again, if you're on Easy Cater and you want some first party catering, put Sadie
Exactly. If
on.
you're getting those easy cater orders because they're coming in after hours, then you need Sadie so she can take those orders for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and while we've got a couple minutes, one thing I want to talk about real quick is I'd like to touch on flow through, and hopefully this will make the recording, and we'll share it at some point down the line. Catering flow through versus your traditional flow through. So if you have a traditional a restaurant menu and you flow 18% to the bottom, 17%, 14, 20, whatever it might be, catering is going to flow more to the bottom because it's incremental sales versus a traditional all-in model on your P&L, right? So if you get an extra $1,000 in catering in a month, you're not adding 30% labor. You're not adding another $300 in labor to cover that. You're fitting that sale into the existing labor. So understanding the flow through of catering orders, I think is so critically important to understanding the value of first party catering. We ran some numbers recently that said you could do half the orders. In other words, if you could do half your sales of what you might be doing on third party. So if let's say you're doing 10,000 a month in third party, you could do 5,000 in first party catering and still double your profitability. So understand the expense tied in to a third party platform. It will help you to understand why building first party is so important. Even if your catering sales go down, you could be making more profit. And I think that's something special for all of us at this time. So thank you, everybody. Danielle, anything? Yeah.
Oh, you covered it. We're
All
good.
right. Abby, anything else before we go?
Oh,
Nope.
I'm on mute. No, I don't think so.
Debbie, we'll let you have the chef's kiss if you want. Anything else on this before we head out?
Oh, just if you guys have any questions at all, my email address will be there in that email he sends out. Shoot me a message and let's talk.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm going to get this information out to everyone hopefully tomorrow. So everybody should have it. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you are interested in having any additional kind of topics or conversation pieces that you want us to go over on future calls, just let us know that as well. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you very much soon, and we'll have another webinar next month. Talk to you later.
Thanks,
Have a great
everyone.
Bye.